Hey preteens, welcome to our week 2 of Starlight Station. And this week we are looking at this idea of jealousy. And the main idea is that servant leaders want others to succeed. Now, as a leader, we want to be successful and we want to know that what we're doing is making a difference and that the people who are following us are doing a good job. But we shouldn't be jealous of when other people succeed. Now, last week we started talking about the life of Joseph and how Joseph had some dreams. Joseph had dreams that made him better and greater than his mom and his dad and his brothers. And his brothers especially did not take that well. And we're going to read all about that in Genesis chapter 37. But when I read this, I want you guys to keep in mind this idea of jealousy. And we'll go and talk a little bit more about it. But Genesis chapter 37, starting with verse 12, and it says this. It says, "Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, 'As you know, your brothers are grazing their flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them.' 'Very well,' he replied. So he said to them, 'Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me.' Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. Then, when Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around the fields and asked him, 'What are you looking for?' He replied, 'I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks?' 'They've moved on from here,' the man answered. 'I heard them say, let's go to Dothan.' So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. 'Here comes that dreamer,' they said to each other. 'Come, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams.' When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. 'Let's not take his life,' he said. 'Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him.' Reuben said this to rescue him from them and to take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe that he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty, there was no water in it. And as they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, 'What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.'" It is amazing to read this and to know that Joseph's brothers hated him so much that, first of all, they were wanting to kill him. Now, I've had arguments with my sister, but I've never really wanted to kill her. I've had arguments with other people that have made me really upset, but I haven't gotten to that far. I haven't gone to that level. And I've been jealous of other people, but not to the point where I've wanted to kill them for them being successful. Joseph's brothers crossed that line. Their jealousy was eating them up. Their jealousy of their brother was through the roof. Not only was Joseph already their dad's favorite son, which as a dad, you never tell any of your kids that they're your favorite, because as a father, I know that I love both of my daughters equally, even though they're different. But that's not what Joseph's dad did. Jacob showed favoritism, and he let everybody know it by giving him this ornate robe. And then also, Joseph, so he already had success. So Joseph had success. He had success in the eyes of all the brothers' dad, which that's something that they desired. They wanted to be special. They wanted to be important in their dad's eyes, and their dad kind of took that away from them. So they were already primed and mad at Joseph just for being Joseph, for being alive. But then to top that off, Joseph has these dreams, and he tells them the dreams of him being greater than them one day. He tells them that they're going to bow down to him. And he says that in two different dreams, two different ways. One, again, with the sheaves, okay? His stock was really tall and they bowed down and worshiped him. And the second one is that the sun and the moon and 11 stars all bowed down to him. The sun and the moon were representation of his mom and dad. And then the stars, the 11 stars were the 11 brothers that he had, all bowing down to one person, Joseph. Now, that news sent them over. I mean, they were already jealous. They were already hating on their brother. But those dreams in particular, and I don't know if it was the way that he said them or just the fact that he was going to be more successful, even better than their brothers, to rub it in, they lost it. They lost their cool. They were jealous, full on blown jealousy. And they were driven to the point where they're ready to kill him. And so when he's coming to them, they quickly looked to one another and said, let's kill him. Let's take him out. Let's not deal with this dreamer anymore. One brother said, let's not do that. That's too far. Let's just throw him down a well, which, again, that's not really nice, but I guess it's not killing the guy. And it says that he had intentions of coming back and rescuing him and giving him back to his father. But they saw an opportunity come their way in the form of a caravan of Ishmaelites. Now, this was a desert group that would be traveling around. They would be selling things. They would be merchants. They would be people who are just nomadically traveling and making a living however they can. One of those ways that they made money was the acquisition of slaves and selling them to people in their visits. And so they knew this, these brothers knew this, and saw this as an opportunity to not only get rid of their brother, but also to make some money, to get something for themselves. And jealousy has driven them to this point. It is awful. It is disgusting. Now, Joseph was able to do some things, and God was able to use these events in Joseph's life to do some amazing things, to fulfill some of the things that he's been dreaming about. But we'll get to that in another week. For this week, let's focus on the brothers and jealousy. You know, the Bible has a couple things to say about jealousy. One of those things is in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30. And it says, "A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones." Now think about that. That's a really wonderful description of what jealousy does to you. Jealousy rots the bones. You might not be able to see jealousy in some people, but it just sits there. It stews, it boils, it simmers, it creeps in through your body, and that jealousy eats away at you. And it ate away at Joseph's brothers so much that they were ready to do some awful things because of that, because they had become rotten inside from all the jealousy. But that's not what God wants from us. God doesn't want us walking around and comparing ourselves to other people and knowing that God created you in an amazing way. that God created you to do things that nobody else could do. God made you special and unique and equipped to do some really awesome and amazing things for Him. And when we are jealous of other people about what they can do, either for God or for just in life and be successful, when we're jealous of other people, we forget that God created us for a purpose. And we want somebody else's purpose. But that's not it. That's not our purpose. That's not your purpose. We can, as a servant leader, we can be happy for those people when they have success, because that is hopefully God showing favoritism for that person, showing them favor so that they're doing more good work for God. Now, when I'm talking about success, I'm talking in context of being successful for God, not just going out and making money, or not just going out and being really good at a sport. But when I look at success as, how am I being effective for God? Now, I can be effective for God doing a lot of different things, playing sports or doing videos or teaching or doing whatever it is that God has gifted me to do. And that success is the kind of success we should be after. Not just worldly wealth, not just the things that the world looks on and says, that's the thing that you should do. Instead, we should be after the kind of success that God desires for us. So when other people have that kind of success, we can't help but be happy for them and celebrate it, because God's kingdom is succeeding. And that's a good thing. That's what we should all be wanting as Christ followers. Jealousy is something that eats away at us. And again, God knows this. In fact, He, out of His 10 rules in the Old Testament that we still abide by today, the 10 commandments, the big 10, God uses one of those to talk about jealousy. And He tells us in Exodus chapter 20, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his male or female servants, his ox or donkey, or anything belongs to your neighbor. Because God knows when we want what other people have, we forget the things that God has already given us. So, what do I want you to do this week? I want you to think about, what are the things that God has given you? Gifts and talents. What kind of life has God given you already? And how blessed have you been in this life? Things could be a lot worse. But also, I want you to think about the success that other people are having around you, and think about how you can celebrate that success. That should be something we should be looking to do. Not be jealous of what other people are able to do and accomplish, especially for God. But we should know that success that other people have can be a really good thing, especially for God's kingdom. All right, well, that's all I have for you guys this week. I'll catch you next time.